And good morning. This is AJ, and this is the Morning Blitz Sports Talk right here on the Hardcore Sports Network. I am at Sunnybrook Football Field in DTO, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and I am here with you on a football field. See behind me, goalposts. We're on the football field today, ladies and gentlemen. White lines and ass kicking. That is what I want to call the best of sports of right now. So let me go give you guys some little updates here. CFL, because I'm here in the good old great up north, white north. So first and foremost, Montreal Alouettes still continue to be a dominant force in the East Division as the Toronto Argonauts, my boy Blue, have unfortunately, sadly, are at the bottom of the East Division. As meanwhile, Saskatchewan Roughriders, surprisingly, with the abysmal, horrible human being known as Trevor Harris, is somehow managing to still lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the West Division. CFL is heating up. Championship games in November. I don't know if the Toronto Argonauts are going to be able to bounce back and reclaim the East Division. It's a wait and see on that notion. Just another program update. There will not be a morning blitz tomorrow morning because I'm on my way back home. If there is a morning blitz, it won't be in the morning. I have been considering doing a special late night edition of the Blitz. The late night Blitz Sports Talk edition will be happening tomorrow night, late at night. We're talking about possibly 10 p.m. tomorrow night. That's something different. Only reason why I want to do that is because I can't do anything tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is going to be very busy for me. The next couple of days. Excuse me. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. So scratch that. I'll be able to do. Sorry, I actually thought today was Thursday. My bad. So tomorrow is Thursday. I will not be on Thursday. We'll be on Friday. However, with that being said, after Friday, we're back in the United States. We're not in Quebec anymore. But like I said, look at these fresh markers, man. They just did this feel great. Which after I in fact just covered a little CFL, let's go right into the NFL. Preseason's in full swing. Games are starting up. I have the Baltimore Ravens going back undefeated. Quick little side note here. There was a fist fight between the Ravens Wiggins today. Yesterday during a joint practice. So he was removed from practice that day due to an altercation with a Colt player. If this happens, Nate Wiggins has proven that he is all about all gas and no brakes, my friend. And I hope that's the way he plays for the Baltimore Ravens for the rest of the season. Not a notion. I love the fact that this field right here is absolutely beautiful. They take really good care, and the difference between a standard American football is not just how wide the field is and how long, but also their end zones. So, where is it? Camera layout. So look at this, man. This is the end zone. This is the goalpost. It's right on the line of the end zone. And then it goes 20 yards. I think it's about 10 yards back because standard CFL field is 110, but altogether it's 120 yards. Remember, 12 people are on this field. Unlimited motion in the backfield. Absolutely love CFL football. It's a shame that they can't have any. They don't have a lot more teams. Canada's not really big on their. They don't have a big population to have more teams. I hope, that they do expand and at least get one more team to even it out to 10 from 5 teams in the East, 5 teams in the West, and then rework their schedule a little bit better. That's what I want from the CFL. But let's go back to the NFL right now. So with that being said, there was a fist fight or joint practice between Baltimore Ravens, is Nate Wiggins, and an unnamed Colt player. Like I said, he was removed from training camp. Not from the joint practice. So now the question is Nate going to play in the preseason game against the Colts? Time will only tell. I think preseason starts this Thursday, which is tomorrow. Which I think it's Colts and Ravens. Let me double check here. So Ravens and Colts, Bengals and Eagles. This is all tomorrow. Raiders and Seahawks. Browns and Panthers. So the Brown Panthers game, the Shador Sanders will start for preseason game week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. Also, the Cleveland Browns signed former Ravens Tyler Huntley to be on the roster due to Kenny Pickett and Gabriel Dillon, or Dylan Gabriel, whatever his last name. Both are on the POP list at this moment, so they cannot compete. They cannot They cannot play. They're injured. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see Kenny Pickett even being on the Browns roster after preseason. I think he will be cut, which was a pointless trade. I think Dylan and Shador Sanders are competing for QB spot number 3. And I think Tyler Huntley will be QB number 2 behind Joe Flacco, because we know Deshaun Watson will not be playing this season. So that's what I think is going on with the Cleveland Browns. However, I think if Joe Flacco struggles by week 7, they will have Shador Sanders as starter. I think Shador is going to really shock some people tomorrow night during his preseason game. I don't think he's a bad player. I think because of the way his father brought them up and who their dad is what makes it very hard for him to get a fair shake, when he, and that happens, man. A lot of teams, it's the welcome to the NFL moment for a lot of these players with some type of like they feel like they're worth something more than what they are. And that's the problem. The NFL teams don't look at it like that. Like, hey, man, you have to earn your spot here in the good old, NFL. And that's like one of those things that's a really hard pill to swallow for some of these players. And I get that. So it is what it is. However, going back to what I was saying, we're looking at a big type of deal going on here with the fact that we have, if you look at it from an NFL's perspective, where is they're going to be when the regular season starts? Another preseason game update is Lions and Falcons. After the Lions got manhandled by the Chargers. Once again, this is preseason. I don't take preseason too seriously, but getting their ass whipped by the Chargers 34-7 is not necessarily the best look for any team coming off a very impressive playoff run. So, with that being said, where do the Detroit Lions go from here? They lost 2 of their good coordinators. The inheritance of those 2 coaching positions are struggling right now. Is Jared Goff from the rebound? Is Dan Campbell going to bite kneecaps and take names? Who knows? It's one of those things where we don't know where they're going to lead into the season going in. Another game. Washington Commanders taking on the New England Patriots in the preseason game. That's going to be interesting. We're going to see Drake May. We're going to see what Coach Vrabel has done with the Patriots for this preseason game. Now, remember, Washington's coming in with a lot of drama with the Terry McLennan issue. sign the man, give him his bag. If he's not there, Washington Commanders will not go be back. Won't be back where they were last season. Guarantee it. Um, well, listen, Michael, I have to say something. I agree, and then I don't agree. I'll tell you why. I think Shador Sand. I agree with the offensive line. I agree with a lot of your statements here, but you have to look at what the Browns have put themselves into with the Deshaun Watson trade and the contract. They can essentially handcuff themselves to a situation. Joe Flacco did really good that one season that he played, and they led him to a playoffs, and they couldn't milk that. Let the man go, and then they struggled the following season. And then the whole thing about teams tanking or on purposely, essentially, we don't want to say they are doing it purposely. But if that's the case, then the NFL will really, really start looking into a draft lottery. And none of these teams want that. None of these teams want a draft lottery because then that means a lot of things will change in the NFL. And it wouldn't not be it would be necessarily a bad thing. I'm not a fan of the draft lottery. I think it's stupid. But I always thought the draft should be a snake draft, right? The worst team, the worst record, first pick, and then you alternate the next round. Super Bowl champion gets the first pick. I always thought that would have been a cool way to do it because by doing that, there's no way a team can tank. I don't know why they never done that. I think shuffling the draft picks each round plays a much larger significance than just doing the worst picks first, and because they're like, oh, that's keep the competition level. That's really not. A team can just take on purpose just because it's a hot name and try to sell a ticket off of it. At the end of the day, they're looking to make money. Um, Would they have 2 first-round draft picks? I don't even know what their draft pick situation is. I actually have to look at that. Because if that's the case, then that'll be very intriguing to see what the Browns go in. But then the question would be, are the Browns going to keep their head coach if that's the case? Are they willing to suffer a losing season just to get higher draft picks? I mean, unfortunately, I don't know. The fact that they even draft Shador Sanders after letting him slip as deep as they did in draft Gabriel, it's almost like a reverse RG3 and Kirk Cousins situation, the coach drafted who he wanted, and then he drafted what the owner wanted. The owner wanted Shador Sanders, and the head coach wanted Dylan Gabriel. So that's where the problem is, right? So that's a whole nother situation that's going to be really horrible for the Cleveland Browns, and I don't know why they put themselves in that predicament. Texans and Vikings. Is CJ Stroud going to recover from the sophomore slump? I think he will. I think CJ's a solid player. I think it was just, it happens, man. You're going to have a really good season, then a really bad season as a rookie, and then you're going to rebound from it. And I think he's going to be that player that rebounds. Like, people forgot that, Peyton Manning had a shitty rookie season before he really got the gears going. So that's how I think about it, Sorry, guys. I'm just having a long day. I've been sick, so if this gets a little cut short, it's not because, I want to cut short. It's because I'm not feeling good. I figure I'm at a football field. It's beautiful out today. I wanted to talk football, I see my preseason week 1 predictions. I think the Ravens over the Colts because that fight between Wiggins and the Colts player, that's going to jumpstart that situation. Eagles over Bengals. I'm going to say Raiders over Seahawks, kind of like a revenge game, I guess, sort of. I'm going to pick Panthers or Browns? I'm going to say Browns over the Panthers. I don't have that much faith over. I don't have that much faith with the Panthers, so I'm going to say Browns. I think Lions rebound from the game against the Chargers, beat the Falcons, but only by a field goal. Commanders over the Patriots, once again by a field goal. Bills over Giants, but Russell Wilson and Jameson Wilson will split a lot, but I think Jackson Dart's going to take a good chunk of the snaps. Texans over Vikings, unless JJ McCarthy, does some Houdini thing and blows them out. Jaguars over Steelers. I think the Jaguars are going to have a good showing. Rams over Cowboys. Buccaneers over Titans. Packers over Jets. Cardinals over Chiefs. I think Cardinals will upset them in the preseason. Broncos over 49ers. Bears over Dolphins. And Chargers over Saints. That is my preseason prediction for week 1 of the preseason. You always really have that one game that kind of sticks out, Major League Baseball, Red Sox had a 9-game win streak. I'm going to be honest, I have not looked at their thing at all. Oh shit. I activated a splash pad. That's kind of cool. I think that's where I'm going to take my daughters later today. But I think at the end of the day, that the dilemma with the Browns is going to be very, very interesting to follow for the rest of the NFL season. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to monitor the situation, and we're going to see what the Browns do with their quarterbacks. But with that being said, unfortunately, I have to call this a day. Monday, we're going to have more of an in-depth podcast episode. We're going to go through all the sports, everything that we need, and then we'll talk about everything else from there. But you guys have a good morning. Talk to you guys on Friday, and then see you on Monday. No morning blitz tomorrow. You guys have a great one.